Hello, welcome back to my channel. You know, it is very interesting or funny that I've been doing all these videos. I still struggle with intro, so I'm going to skip intro today and jump right into the video. So today we're going to watch one of the Boracity Magazine. I think this video came out 3 months ago. It's called Gatekeeping, a mainstream artist, a BTS video essay. Okay, I don't recall seeing this one, but then again, my memory has been failing me these days. So I don't know whether I have watched this before. I don't think so. So let's just jump right in to see what happens, okay? Okay, turn on CC, yes.
For this video, I want to make the disclaimer that this is a BTS focused channel. I made this video as a fan of BTS and for other BTS fans to watch. So some of what I'll say may be applied to other fandoms as well. But keep in mind that this is a...
Before I continue, I want to say thank you to Boracity Magazine for creating amazing videos. I know there are other content creators out there such as Hype Boy and Asian Cultural and Entertainment, I believe. I do watch the video off camera quite often, not on camera, because their videos sometimes can be a bit long and a lot of just words. So I tend to want to listen to them or watch them a bit off camera, so I can pause and think things through and pause again, and that might make the video quite long. And a lot of times there's not a lot of reaction because I'm just learning things. But for Boracity Magazine, sometimes, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Sometimes I get really, triggered. So that might make good reaction video. But anyway, I don't know whether I'm going to get triggered this time or not. So we will see. Go back a little bit.
Watch, because some of what I'll say may be applied to other fandoms as well. But keep in mind that this is a BTS focused channel.
Thank you for making
In
clear.
2022, BTS released their anthology album Proof, a project that compiled their biggest hits from their career, as well as their favorite solo songs, B-sides, and unreleased demos. The reason for this big project was hinted and explained many times by BTS.
Really? Okay.
This was the end of their first chapter, also known as BTS's Chapter 1.
We believe that this words opens the beginning of our new chapter.
BTS's Chapter 1 lasted 9 years, and it ended when it was time for them to start their military service. So knowing that this was coming, the BTS members prepared Chapter 2, a series of coordinated solo music projects released before their confirmed group reunion in 2025, all under the same label and never competing with each other.
어쨌든 챕터 2가 시작이 됐잖아.
How many armies actually waiting for the reunion
We
in
all
2025?
근데 난 2025년이 되게 기대되는 게 뭐냐면
25년이 가고 싶긴 하죠. 우리 그때면 또 모여 있을 거 아니에요.
근데 25년에 나는 완전체로 투어를 할 수 있을 것 같다는 생각이 너무 들어.
So whether they
I
were
think the tour is going to happen next year, by 2026. Yeah.
in the military, waiting to join the military, or out of the military but waiting for the other members, music by the BTS members was out.
Yes.
This way, BTS's popularity kept increasing, even while on rest from group activities. Actually, they have grown so much that more than a third of BTS's entire fandom now has not experienced a BTS group release or promotion.
Wait.
The entire fandom now has not have grown so much that more than a third of BTS's entire fandom now has not experienced a BTS group release or promotion. They discovered BTS during Chapter 2, the solo era. Because of this, the fandom has changed a lot.
Yes.
Chapter 1 armies saw BTS grow from a small group from an almost bankrupt company to the biggest band in the world.
Yes.
So Chapter 1 armies don't just know about the injustices, sabotage, and discrimination that BTS went through. They saw it happening firsthand. So although not perfect, for 9 years, Chapter 1 armies carried an enthusiasm for guidelines, practices, and rules of fandom etiquette. And whenever a mistake happened, Chapter 1 armies were present to learn from their mistakes. But unfortunately, the practice of these guidelines have debilitated significantly during Chapter 2, as more fans unfamiliar with the fandom's etiquette and lived experiences started joining.
이상한 소리 하시는 분들 왜 이렇게 많아? 변했어요, 여러분.
Because of this, another practice has increased in the fandom: gatekeeping. In general terms, gatekeeping is the activity of trying to control who gets particular resources, power, or opportunities and who does not. gatekeeping used to be mentioned in the context of institutional power, but in
Yes.
today's pop culture, gatekeeping started receiving a more specific meaning. The Cut wrote in 2023, "The old fixated definition of gatekeepers as people with institutional power just doesn't resonate in an era where algorithms cater to our individual
Yes.
taste and any user-generated piece of content can become a viral sensation. Before, the gatekeepers of music, for example, were record executives in the 70s or MTV in the 90s.
Yes.
Now, however, we are all potential gatekeepers. We as an audience can sometimes decide which artist becomes popular and which
Yes.
artist does not. We can make a
It's all about the streams, right? The downloads and the streams. People don't even need to buy albums, they just download, right?
singer with no label go viral, and we can reject a project by a massive singer with a big record deal and an expensive promotion strategy. With this new power, listeners can gatekeep or limit the exposure and community that any artist creates. Business Insider writes, "Gatekeeping can also refer to people who maybe aren't hiding something tangible but are telling others they are not entitled to an opinion or behavior. The gatekeepers of music may not only tell new listeners that they are not real fans, gatekeepers may also purposefully or accidentally sabotage certain aspects of the career of their
Really?
favorite artist in the fear that they become too big, too mainstream." In the case of BTS, the successful solo careers of the BTS members during Chapter 2 have opened the doors to a lot of new fans unfamiliar with BTS's group dynamic.
Yes.
This is why some Chapter 1 armies feel the need to protect the community it was once organized and goal-oriented. But is this really helping protect the fandom, or is it scaring the audience that the artists themselves are promoting for?
So before we continue, I was actually surprised that 1/3 of the fandom actually joined the army after during the hiatus period. I do see that when I go to YouTube, I see new reactors, and normally the first song they react to is Dynamite. Not like before when they are still before the hiatus period. Most of the time, the first song people react to is Mic Drop. Now it's Dynamite, it's Butter, and I think the new fans tend to have a preconceived notion of what BTS are and what kind of music they create until they start dive into more content, or watching some of the guys like Boracity Magazine had a short guy which was very good. I reacted before. Also XLS has guy, and Taylor has another guy. So there are a lot of guys out there. Sometimes I guess me being an army, whenever I see a new reactor saying things, it's like, boy band, they're just blah blah blah, I will be screaming on my phone and say, no, they're not. Do your research. But I also understand that having a reaction channel is a lot of time they don't do research. They just react to whatever they see, right, without any knowledge of what is K-pop and what is BTS, because many of the new reactor was drawn to K-pop because of they can see the view, right? How many views and how many subscriber, which lead me to the conversation right now is like, I don't know why I'm not growing, but it's okay. I'm hoping that I'll be growing eventually, but I don't know what to do because this is not my job, right? Making reaction video is not my job. It's just something I do on my spare time because I like to watch BTS thing, and since I'm watching it, I might just watch with on camera and record my reaction. But this is not my goal. But anyway, back to the new reactors, and I do see them blow up very quickly. You will see a new reactor. When I first saw them, they have like 500 subscriber. Next week they have 10,000, 20,000. They grow so fast. But then again, I think I know why I'm not growing, because maybe it's just because I'm not putting out clickbait or title of one, K-pop hater or whatever. I'm not doing that, so maybe that's why. And also, I think people like to watch new army joining the group, right? So since I'm not new, it's no fun to watch me react to something that everybody know. It's more fun to watch someone who's very new, who doesn't know BTS, and dive into the rabbit hole. I understand that's more fun. But it makes me wonder that why do I have to be a new reactor to attract viewer? But anyway, I digress. What I'm trying to say that I'm surprised to see that we have a lot of new members to ARMY. I hope they are true member. They are not just joining the ARMY because they want to get subscribers and get views. And I think a lot of them are attracted to K-pop because of the new Netflix show, right? And people assume that will be K-pop, and I will think that BTS will be K-pop. But anyway, I digress. I totally digress. Let me continue. The pros of gatekeeping.
ARMYs is slowly outnumbering Chapter 1 ARMYs, the old practices that the fandom and BTS made common can disappear a little, especially now since a lot of Chapter 1 fanbases are taking a break from fandom projects alongside BTS. Without this guidance, and more importantly, without BTS present as a 7-member group, certain practices common in mainstream and K-pop fandoms can become normalized in BTS's fandom. Here's what's happening. Some of these practices have become particularly normalized during Chapter 2. It's true, but gatekeeping being an ARMY has controlled this a little. It's not entirely out of our hands, at least not right now. Here are some examples of how the gatekeeping of BTS has prevented some negative practices from growing in the fandom.
I did not wait a year and a half to watch this in the crowd.
One of the most common downsides of becoming an artist with more casual listeners than dedicated fans is the sides of becoming an artist with more casual listeners than dedicated fans is the dead crowds in concerts. These are venues filled with casual listeners who only know a couple of popular songs and who feel too cool to cheer or sing out loud.
I did not wait a year and a half to watch this in the crowd. It's been a year and a half! What the fuck?
Are you fucking serious? Put your fucking hands up and fucking jump!
It's so weird that VIP thinks they're so way too cool to do this. 5, 6, 7, 8, do it or I'm calling you on stage.
Compare this to an audience filled with fans familiar with the artist's discography and unafraid of having fun. Since Chapter 1, BTS made
I'm surprised, actually, I'm pausing again. I'm surprised to see the dead crowd. And because if you go to a concert, I think maybe if you go to a concert of the artists that you will know many of their songs, right? I just went to a Linkin Park concert in San Jose, and I'm contemplating if I want to put any video on this channel. I might do a short, just put it here, because after all, this is a BTS specific channel that I'm creating. But I do like Linkin Park. I listened to Linkin Park way before I discovered BTS. So BTS, I might be my only boy band, so-called K-pop band. But I do like other artists. I might not dive into them as much as I dive into BTS. For example, Linkin Park, right? I still listen to their songs, but not as often as I listen to BTS. But when I went to the Linkin Park concert, everybody was screaming, everybody was singing together. So yeah, I don't know why there's a dead crowd in those concerts that they're showing.
It's very clear that the thing they enjoy the most as artists is the live concerts. They've shown that interviews, celebrity events, after parties, and pre-recorded performances are things they have to do sometimes, but they don't show much excitement about them. Sometimes they avoid them.
팝스타 막 이런 사람들은 끝나고 막 약간 막 애프터 파티하고 막 이런 게 물론 다 그렇진 않겠지만 나에게는 그런 거 따윈 없다. 돌려서 자야 된다.
But their main reason to release music is to perform in front of people.
파워 콘서트는 취소.
풍락으로 사나 활동하고 그 나의 전부였는데 진짜 저희 앞에 있던 투어와 모든 스케줄들이 다 취소가 되는 거 보면서 어느 정도의 우울감이 분명히 존재했다고 생각해요.
We're just here to have a good time with the armies, the actual people.
BTS likes the audience's reaction and participation. And this participation is not just singing every single word of every single song. Like many other Korean singers, BTS's label prepares fan chants for certain songs, so you don't have to know the entire lyrics, including the complicated Korean raps. You can still have fun singing the fan chants. Now, this is not mandatory. The rule is not to learn all their lyrics or all their fan chants. The rule is to be familiar with the music you're paying to see live, and most importantly, to have fun. Don't just stay there recording. Here's an example. When J-Hope of BTS started his solo tour at the beginning of 2025, his setlist included one verse, a song he released 9 years prior only on SoundCloud. So some confused new fans thought he was performing a brand new song. Even as time passed and J-Hope performed this song again and again, the confusion continued. This is when the gatekeeping comments start intensifying. At this point, many would say there's no excuse to believe this is a new song or stay silent or confused when this song starts playing. Once again, BTS likes when the audience is familiar with their music. And even now, as we see more and more people who only know the most popular songs attend their events, ARMYs will not allow dead crowds to become a thing. In mainstream fandoms, fan mania is common and accepted. It is even seen as powerful. The crazier the fandom acts, the more famous the artist is. And fan mania is something fandoms are proud of. However, in the ARMY fandom, this craziness is not welcome or celebrated by fans or BTS themselves. Think of the stereotype of the screaming young fans, for example. The fandom has learned over the years that there are moments when cheering is welcomed by the BTS members, and there are moments when cheering becomes an interruption.
Is anyone... don't even know what the question is yet.
We have, for example, this 2019 iHeartRadio interview. Here, only a small group of fans got the chance to be part of the audience of a more personal interview in LA. But fans were being loud, disruptive, and worst of all, feeling the entitlement of joking about them as if they were BTS's close friends.
Which one of the guys is most likely to mess up one of their dance routines?
I'm not wrong.
All right, never mind. Cut.
Hey, nothing.
Cut.
We are perfect.
You're perfect.
The BTS members were busy.
Yeah, I think at that time they were all calling out Jin, right? I was pissed if my memory serves me. Wow. But then again, my memory has been failing me lately. But I think for that particular interview, if I recall correctly, they were calling out Jin. First of all, what kind of freaking question was that? Second, if you're a true fan, you will never call out a man. Oh, look at my poor Jin. Look at him. If I think he was called out. How would you feel if you were him? You're in the interview and you were surrounded by the people who's supposed to love you and saying that you're the one who's most likely to make mistakes. Seriously?
Uncomfortable by the audience's response. The BTS members were visibly uncomfortable by the audience's response, so this behavior was criticized by the fandom online. BTS attended the same show the following year, and although it was still a little hectic, overall, there was an improvement on the fandom's etiquette, and for what I could see, the newer, younger fans are still learning this lesson. Don't just act crazy for the sake of being crazy. Even cheering when it's appropriate, it's a big deal.
Higgins, can you explain how...
It all comes down to respect and common sense. In concerts, festivals, red carpets, award shows, or any promoted public appearance, showing up and cheering loudly is more than welcome. As long as one, it doesn't create a disturbance, and two, everyone is safe, the artist and the fans. During Chapter 2, there were some instances when fans totally disregarded this safety rule. They are too insistent on being the main character. They get so close to the artist that it becomes completely unacceptable. Like I mentioned, these moments are heavily criticized by ARMYs because
don't you think everybody want to kiss Jin? Everybody want to kiss Jin. Okay, I want to kiss Jin, but you are lucky enough to give him a hug already. Seriously, and also those people who's grabbing J-Hope and Jin, Seriously, you are lucky enough to even get a ticket to be at that place. I could not even get freaking ticket to see Jin, okay? I was able to see J-Hope because for some reason, Oakland Arena opened up the suite. When Jin came to LA, we reached out to the arena. They say that the suites are not open for us to book, to reserve. So there was no suite open. So we had to fight through the ticketing procedure, and I could not get ticket. So I was able to watch Jin in the theater, but it's not the same. So if you're lucky enough to be in the same place, be that close to them, you respect their boundary, respect their spaces. You know, if you can touch them, good for you. Bless you. I wish I could touch them. You are so close to Jin, you can hug him, and you ruin the moment by trying to kiss him. What the fuck? Okay, anyway. Calm down.
This being common in other fandoms is not an excuse, and it's important for new armies to learn how seriously the fandom and BTS take the safety aspect. This is why self-organization was a big thing for Chapter 1 armies. If a venue's staff is not organized, army creates their own lines, moves traffic, and starts their own initiatives. One popular initiative in the fandom is the famous Purple Ribbon Project. In 2018, a group of armies used purple ribbons to protect BTS from the crowd showing up during their arrival at LAX. The project was successful and kept the BTS members, fans, and regular passengers safe. Soon, other cities and countries joined the project, and BTS acknowledged and thanked armies for the initiative.
At the LAX, they got those purple ribbons for the security in the airport and outside the airport. They did it themselves. They brought some purple ribbons and they kept the safety. They did it themselves. So it was very safe. Purple ribbons you had was a shock. They had this purple ribbon in the airport and they kept the safety from us.
This is why, if you're a new fan and don't follow these initiatives, the gatekeeping starts. You are the other one out. You are causing a disturbance. You are not a real fan.
I would not go as far as saying you're not a real fan. It's just like if they're new, they don't know the etiquette, especially for Western fans. It's their nature. They want to scream, they want to shout, they want to be close to the artist that they love. They do not understand their etiquettes in the K-pop world, the Asian world. So we need to give them time to learn, to understand etiquette, right? So I would not go as far as to say that you're not a real fan. They just need to be educated, okay?
Everybody, out of the way!
Yes, back up,
everybody. Throughout this video, I've mentioned that the fandom is not perfect, and this is why it keeps evolving. For example, the Purple Ribbon Project was an excellent initiative until it wasn't, and this has something to do with privacy. In many mainstream fandoms, knowing the personal lives of the artists is pretty common. Who are their parents, their siblings, their best friends? Where do they live? Which countries are they visiting? However, BTS has always maintained their private lives very private, and armies don't really know all of this personal information. I still don't know how many siblings the BTS members have or how their parents look like, and I ran a BTS-focused YouTube channel. My point is that armies value BTS's privacy more than any other fandom I've seen. Armies have accidentally met the BTS members in different places around the world, and they didn't say anything to anyone about their location until the BTS members themselves shared pictures, or thank armies for pretending not to know them. When BTS...
See, now, that one, I don't know if I can hold back. If I see any of them on the street, I don't know if I'm able to hold back from going to them and at least say hello. I don't know. I may not ask for autograph because I'll be so shy I will not be able to talk. I don't know. I don't know how I will react if I see them on the street or in a random location. I don't know. I'm sure I will want to take pictures of them. I might not. I don't know if I'll have the courage to go up to, I might be stopped at the security anyway to get close to them. But yeah, I don't know if I can hold back.
At their military entrance ceremonies, they asked fans not to show up, so armies simply didn't show up. This is so rare in K-pop fandoms that even the paparazzi was surprised.
Yeah, I remember seeing this video. They were shocked. Listen.
Like this video shows, BTS's popularity is so big that unfortunately, people are always going to show up at airports, hotels, and different places where BTS is staying. But it's not armies, it's the paparazzi, fan sites that take and even sell unauthorized pictures of BTS, and K-pop fans who don't care about the army fandom etiquette buy pictures of BTS, and K-pop fans who don't care about the army fandom etiquette, even sharing
What the fuck was she doing?
BTS, and K-pop fans who don't care about the army fandom etiquette. Even sharing pictures from paparazzi or fan sites is not welcome. Armies don't share private stuff. There's no excuse. This is why showing up at airports is not allowed.
If I'm able to capture a picture of BTS on the street, I will keep it to myself. I will share picture that I take in concerts. But in private, I'm gonna be looking at my phone day in, day out and say, look, I took a picture of them. But I don't think I will be putting on the social media and share.
Anymore. Even if the fandom follows a positive initiative, BTS's private schedule is private. Now, these are only some examples of how gatekeeping can impact BTS and the fandom in a positive way. I thought these were important things to mention because in reality, the overall conversation surrounding gatekeeping is negative. And this is because many times, artists believe that fans gatekeeping their music damages their career. And artists as big as BTS are no exception. When we think about gatekeepers in general, we think of the gatekeeping being mostly done by people who feel entitled enough to decide who gets to be a fan and who doesn't. They may think who is knowledgeable enough or cool enough to be a real fan. This can be extremely damaging to a small and growing artist because their careers can disappear overnight. On the other hand, gatekeeping may not necessarily end the career of the big artist, but it can create a hostile community that even the artists themselves may be frustrated by. Big fandoms can also scare away the specific audiences the artist was promoting for. Think of how gatekeeping has prevented certain musical movements from going mainstream. Fans feeling betrayed when their band connects with the mainstream. Fans calling out people for not knowing multiple songs of the bands on their shirts.
No songs by them though.
No.
Oh, that's tough. You might want to zip up that jacket now, not let anybody.
Or being extra strict about terms and specifications of subgenres, I believe can make young people not excited for bands anymore. This is a real complaint by band members and band developers nowadays, because the new generations of fans could have been part of that mainstream audience gatekeepers are alienating. Of course, gatekeeping is only one of many factors for the decline and fall of certain fandoms, but I thought it was important to bring up because no matter how big a movement or fandom is, gatekeeping can help flip things around, and retirement or disbandment are possibilities. Of course, that would be the extreme consequence of gatekeeping an artist, and there are usually other factors that come into play as well. But expansion and growth are real goals for many artists, and working hard on promoting their music to certain audiences while their communities make it harder for them can be really demotivating. This happens in the BTS fandom a lot. Whenever someone from the general public who is apparently not a BTS fan uses a BTS song on social media, the gatekeepers of the fandom start doing their thing. If you use BTS's music, you have to name 5 songs. You have to announce whether you're ARMY. And
They don't have to. If the music is good for their whatever video they're doing, they can use it. They don't have to be a fan who use the video. I create shorts, I create short videos using music of artists I absolutely have no knowledge of because I think the music suits the video. Gosh, okay.
use BTS's music, you have to name 5 songs. You have to announce whether you're ARMY. And don't you dare turn a BTS song into a trend. Casual listeners are not real fans and don't deserve to use BTS's music for their TikToks or edits or thirst traps. They are not knowledgeable enough or cool enough to be a real fan. And even crazier, they are not worthy enough to listen to BTS's music, even casually. The excuse for this extreme gatekeeping is repeated a million times.
Well, that's
BTS already has a lot of real fans. They don't need new fake ones. According to them, these new audiences will turn BTS into a common artist with a common fandom that will normalize that crowds, the bad fan etiquette, and a lack of respect for privacy.
See, I think for people who might not know BTS and they use their music for their edits, eventually, we're hoping eventually they will turn into BTS fans, right? And when you become a BTS fan, it's a natural progression that you want to show your respect. I don't know. I'm just thinking that if I like an artist, such as BTS or even Linkin Park, I will do my best to show respect, right? And if I like them enough, BTS, I will try my best to learn everything about what I'm supposed to do and not to do when I go to a concert. And when I go to a BTS concert or any of their solo concerts, I might not have freebie to hand out, but I will be respectful. And I will not chase people for freebies. Okay, if they want to give me freebie, I'll be thankful. But I think we want to turn more people into armies, but we need to give them time to grow, to learn.
Gatekeeping may prevent these negative practices from becoming normalized in the fandom, but at what cost? To get a mainstream song, fandom is not enough. Even when it comes to BTS, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, or other artists with massive dedicated fandoms. To get a hit song, you need the mainstream public. So the question is, do the BTS members want a hit song? Do they want the general public to listen to their music? Look at their actions. Like any other singer, BTS celebrates their Billboard hits. They get excited when they listen to their music on the radio. They care about nominations and awards.
See, nominations, awards might not be their main thing, but it bring them happiness.
They keep up with trends and popular shows. They create TikTok challenges for TikTok audiences. They do hundreds of interviews with the press, although it's not their favorite part of being artists. They do all of this, and fans still want to create an obstacle between BTS and the general public. They still shame the general public.
So those are real fans. Those people who are blocking entry to ARMY is not a real fan. They are just selfish people using BT. I'm a true fan of BTS as a disguise. I don't know. That's what I think.
For following the trend, BTS worked so hard to create. They even shamed the general public for creating their own trends to BTS songs. Although this benefits BTS and the members celebrated themselves, it comes to a point where gatekeeping is wishing the worst on BTS's efforts. Gatekeeping is arrogantly saying they do these radio interviews, shows, and TikTok dances for me only. I am a real fan, and if you want to join my community, you have to receive my approval. Now, maybe gatekeepers are not good at looking at the artist's actions and reading between the lines. So let's look at what BTS actually says. BTS is cautious while sharing their goals, but if you pay attention, they do.
Maybe Grammy, Billboard Hot 10.
While BTS always mentions ARMY first, they have said they want their music, or more specifically, certain songs to be listened to by everyone, not just their fans.
목표는 확실하고요. 대중들이 즐기는 음악을 해보자가 첫 번째였던 것 같아요.
이제 많은 분들이 굉장히 이제 힘이 빠져 있는 그런 상황이라고 생각을 했는데 발표를 하게 되었죠. 많은 분들에게 힘이 되었습니다.
We wanted to have a fun, cool song that everyone can enjoy this summer.
Everyone.
We just all wanted to bring people from all over the world together.
J-Hope even clarified one time that for one specific song, he had certain expectations.
물론 사실 차트가 높아서 안 좋아하는 가수가 어디 있겠어요. 그러잖아요. 근데 이제 약간의 나의 뭔가 위로였고 그냥 방패막이었지. 그러니까 나는 신경을 안 쓰고 음악을 해. 내가 좋았던 거 한 거야. 그게 어떻게 보면 내 자기 위로였던 거야. 근데 그런 거를 이제 진짜 내가 내 입으로 말을 하는 거야. 저 이번에는 이러한 목적이 있어서 합니다. 뭐 막 이렇게 목표를 가지고 했는데 또 안 좋아도 막 기죽지 않아요. 조금 슬플 뿐. 슬픈 건 나 혼자 슬픈 거야.
Any person has expectations for things they work hard on. BTS's career is music, and they still have many goals they want to achieve. And once again, to achieve these goals, they need to reach the general public. They know it. That's why they do all these promotions. Now, what I find weird and kind of sad about this clip is that J-Hope feels the need to explain that he's a normal person with goals and expectations. He needs to explain the obvious. Like any other person, artists have hopes and dreams. Artists feel sadness and disappointment too. The fact that gatekeepers consider themselves the real fans makes this entire thing even worse, because they look at these actions and words and they still choose to gatekeep. They still decide to actively sabotage BTS's efforts. They still decide to ignore their dreams. Gatekeeping the good practices in the fandom, many say, is not real gatekeeping.
Really?
It's just protecting. But whatever
It's a
you want
fine
to call
line.
it, there is a positive side to limiting or regulating the entrance of new people to the fandom, to put it some way. So when is it okay to gatekeep or protect BTS from the general public and their crazy practices? Here's my answer. Pay attention to the artist's intentions. Very rarely, the artist will say what their exact goals are, but you can still look at their actions. For BTS's anniversary, the members released songs dedicated to ARMY. These can be very personal and have no big promotions. Other times, BTS releases music with touchy subjects and personal experiences that a non-ARMY wouldn't understand. Sometimes they go as far as to hide certain songs from their discography because they only want the quote-unquote hardcore armies to go out of their way to listen to these personal songs. BTS is excited to share demos that ended up not being officially released, but they do it privately. When it comes to this type of content, I believe it's okay to gatekeep. These songs were not for non-armies to listen to, and the BTS members also...
Yeah, because a lot of times non-army will not understand anyway, and then they will be so confused, right? Because a lot of time non-army, they will not spend the time to research and understand what the meaning of those, right?
Dislike when any type of personal content made quote solely and entirely dedicated to armies reach the mainstream and even make it to the news. They hate it. So sometimes it's necessary to gatekeep this content, but not the songs they spend hours and hours promoting, not the songs they mention and perform when they go to late night shows and morning shows and festivals, not the songs they dance to on social media with other celebrities, not the songs they sing on TV again and again, not the music they make extra visible in every interview. So be reasonable. Maybe you hate the quote-unquote normies who do the silly dances on TikTok and go see the trendy artists just to say they were there. But certain songs were made with that intention. BTS releases many songs. Why can you even allow the general public trend the few songs BTS does an extra effort on promoting? Allow BTS to reach this audience, because the biggest obstacle is you.
Yes. So that was gatekeeping a mainstream artist. I never saw it that way. I never saw there were gatekeeping happening, actually, to be honest with you. I didn't know that. So, and I do understand that a lot of new fans or people who discover BTS doing the hiatus and through their solo, they tend to think that, oh, you know, if this person is saying this way, then BTS music must be like this, right? Until they listen to more and more, they realize, and I also watch some guys that realize that's not the case. But I do also understand that some people, some older army or chapter 1 army wants to get keep, because we don't want the new so-called fans to be showing signs of disrespect. Okay, but then again, like as I mentioned during the reactions, that we need to allow time for them to learn the etiquette. They need to understand the difference between Western behavior of the Western fan versus the behavior of army, or I will not say Asian. A lot of times Asian fans are crazy too. But if you like or if you love an artist, you want to show your respect. And there's etiquette, right? And so we need to really allow them to learn it. Even for me, I've been in army for a few years. I'm still learning, right? So, you know, to conclude, to have a, what am I talking about? So as a conclusion, we as Chapter 1 Army, I'm not even Chapter 1 Army. I think I did not grow up with them, so I'm like the end stage of the Chapter 1 Army. So the Chapter 1 armies need to give time for the Chapter 2 armies for them to understand what BTS stands for and what their goals are, and then allow them to learn the etiquettes. And we are here to educate, to help, but we should not be here to judge and to gatekeep them. So that's it for today. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye.